Our presentation for today is entitled Powerful Superfoods. So I want to share with you today just a simple way in which you can give your body the nutrition that it needs in order to function optimally. So we're going to do a short little demo, but before that I just want to share with you some theory about the demo, and then we'll go into our demo. So firstly, Genesis 3 verse 18 says to us, "Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field." So when we study the Bible, we will learn and we will see that herbs and vegetables were introduced into the diet after sin entered into the world. And this is because herbs and vegetables, they actually protect our bodies against disease. So that's why it's so important for us to make sure that we get in the herbs and the vegetables so that we can actually give our bodies that which it needs in order to function optimally and to be healthy and to fight disease. So that's why I feel it's so important to talk about green stuff, as you can see on our deck, because it is what will fight disease and it will make your body healthy. I want to just briefly look at our benefits of greens. It's very important to use more greens in our diet. Unfortunately, in today's day and age, we don't have enough greens in our diet. And I want to just show you some of the benefits to perhaps inspire you to incorporate more greens into your diet and into your meal preparation. So firstly, they alkalize the body system. So whenever you see something green, as dark green as this, you can just see alkaline. Our bodies, or let me first explain to you this way. The pH scale goes from 0 to 14 with 7 as your neutral. And our bodies should be our blood should be slightly alkaline in order for our bodies to function optimally. Now, your stomach, for argument's sake, has to have a more acid environment to function optimally, but most of our body organs and body functions function best in an alkaline environment. For instance, your pancreas needs an alkaline environment in order for it to work the way it should. Unfortunately, most of the food that we consume on a regular basis are more acid forming. And so forth, we then have bodies that are more on the acid side than on the alkaline side, and this can cause various ailments and conditions and disease. So we need to be more, alkaline-minded to be able to give our bodies what it needs. So just briefly, I want to explain to you, when you look at a lemon, when you taste the lemon and you test the lemon, it is slightly acid. But it's very important to know that the effect of the lemon on the body is alkaline. So the term that they use out there is that the ashes of the food has an alkaline forming method or procedure on your body. So even though the lemon is sour, it doesn't mean it makes you sour. It's more important to understand what effect does it have on your body. So you can just go onto the internet and you can just go and Google and say alkaline forming foods, and you will get a long list of foods that actually make your body alkaline. And that's a great way then to make sure that you take that list and you incorporate that more into your meals to make sure that you eat more alkaline forming foods. And that is why I'm going to do this demo with you today, to give you one or two things to help you to make your body a bit more alkaline. So that's just briefly on alkaline and acid that I wanted to share with you. Then also, greens provide the nutrients and the vitamins that we need in order to be healthy. Even better if you can get it in an organic form, it's even more essential because then you know it's been grown in the right environment. But when you see greens, you must just see health, because that's exactly what they do for our bodies. Then also they increase your energy levels. They increase your energy levels for various reasons, but if your body is supplied with all the nutrients and the minerals that it needs, you are going to have more energy because your body can function optimally. They help you to detoxify. So many of us come into contact with various heavy metals, heavy chemicals, all sorts of bacteria in the air, and greens have the ability to help our body cleanse and to detoxify. So it's very important to have them on a daily basis to keep this cleaning process going. They also prevent disease. As I've already mentioned, They help your body to fight and combat any ailments and disease. So basically, by incorporating greens, you are giving your body a boost or a head start in order to do what it needs to do. You're helping your body to be healthy. Also, it promotes general good health, and it will improve your immune system. So would you agree with me that that list makes it, how can I say, completely worth it to incorporate greens into our diet? Would you agree? Certainly, I agree as well. So let's just look at a few examples of greens. Let me put it this way. I want us to look at a few examples of greens. I'm first going to show you a few common ones that you are familiar with, and then I'm going to show you a few ones that you perhaps didn't know that you can actually consume. So our first one is parsley. Parsley is an excellent herb because it's excellent for the bladder and even for indigestion. But its main, how can I say, benefit is that it's very good for the bladder. So if you're struggling with bladder infections, you can take some parsley tea or add it into whatever you use, and it will really help your bladder to function optimally. Then also we have beetroot leaves. Did you know that the beetroot leaves contain more iron than what the beetroot contains iron? And yet we just take those leaves and we chuck it away. So I always encourage people, if it's within their means, to have a little garden in their yard and to plant some beetroot, because then you get the benefit of the beetroot and the leaves, so that you can use the leaves. And you can use the leaves in the demonstration that I'm going to show you today, so that it's not so fibery, but that it's at least palatable and for you to eat. Interesting that you know that plant blood, like this, and our blood differ by one molecule. And therefore, when you consume dark leafy greens, your body can automatically utilize it because it recognizes it so easily. Dark leafy greens is a different food source than your vegetables. You get your vegetables, and you get your fruit, and you get your grains and your legumes. And dark leafy greens are a different food source from vegetables. They are classified as dark leafy greens. And they, as I said, are so rich in minerals that our bodies can just utilize them immediately because they're so identical to our blood. Then next is our coriander. Coriander is delicious in flavor, but it's excellent to detoxify the body of heavy metals. So if you are struggling with heavy metal poisoning, make yourself some coriander pesto, add it to your curry or add it to your stews, use it in your green smoothies, and then you can actually get it in on a regular basis. It's delicious in salad. I really enjoy coriander. Then your peppermint, excellent for indigestion. You can actually go down to Dis-Chem or any health shop, and they sell dry peppermint. And then you can make yourself a tea from that. And it's excellent if you're struggling with heartburn or indigestion, or maybe you feel your food has made you a bit bloated, etc., or a bit windy. It's excellent for that. And also it's delicious if you add some to your water to give your water a nice mint flavor. Then we have our celery. Celery is excellent for water retention. And if you're someone that are struggling with the heat, you just can't cope with the heat, it's good to have celery in your diet on a regular basis. It helps your body to cope with the heat better, and it also helps with not keeping too extra water in our bodies. Then we have our basil. I added that just because basil, who doesn't like basil? But it's also a dark leafy green, so while you're enjoying the flavor of your basil pesto or in your salad or wherever you like to use it, it is still helping your body with the minerals that it needs. Then we have our spinach, rich in iron and in calcium. And then they, of course, are rich in protein as well, especially our spinach. And our spinach is also rich in iron. So it's a very good plant source to utilize in our diet. As well as our kale. Kale is considered as a powerful superfood. It's powerful superfood because it's so nutrient dense. So when you eat it, you are actually giving your body a large amount of nutrients, and your body can actually utilize it optimally. So kale is also a great way to make sure that you use that as a green. Kale has a bit of a more of a distinct flavor. So if you are new to dark leafy greens and utilizing it, I would say start with your spinach, which is a more neutral in flavor, and just learn to incorporate kale as you go along for your taste buds to adjust. The people these days, they take the kale and they put it in a dehydrator and they dry it, and then they make the most delicious kale chips from it. You can just go onto Google and then you will find all the information about it. Kale is really something that we need to try and make part of our diet. It's really a superfood. So let's look at a few wild greens. Did you know that there are some of the wild greens, or also known as weeds, that we throw away but we can actually eat them? I want to just challenge you and encourage you to go onto the internet and type in edible weeds. And you will see that there's a long list that we can actually eat and that are actually very beneficial for our bodies. And I'll tell you why in a moment. The first one I want to share with you is plantain. Plantain is a very long leaf, and it usually starts thin, it goes around a little bit thicker, and then it ends to a sharp point. And the way you usually identify it, if you can see it on the screen, it has lines that go straight up onto the plant like that. Plantain is a weed. If you go to the Eastern Cape, you see them everywhere. In all the fields that the cattle walk, you will see plantain. I'm sure if we look around here, we will be able to find it as well. Plantain is edible, so it's perfectly safe for you to use in the demonstration that I will show with you today. Then also dandelion. Not so uncommon. I'm sure most of us know the dandelion because of the little white thing that we pick and then we blow it, right? And then, of course, the yellow flower that you make. Did you know that the roots of the dandelion is excellent for the prostate of a man? So you can take the roots and you can actually dehydrate it and make it into a powder form and put it over your porridge or wherever. It's really very beneficial for men. But with the dandelion, you can eat the leaves, you can eat the flower, you can eat the roots, everything. So what I like to do in our home is I take the whole dandelion out of the ground. I rinse it underneath the water and I put it into a pot, roots, leaves, flowers, everything into a pot with at least 2 to 4 liters of water. And then I bring that to boil, and once it's boiled, starting to boil, I will turn down the temperature a little bit and I will let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then what I like to do is I leave those dandelion leaves in that water, and I let it infuse a little bit longer, and then towards the end of the day, I will actually strain the water off and throw away the dandelion. And now what you have is a delicious dandelion tea. And that dandelion tea is so good for all your organs, especially your liver, and especially your pancreas, and definitely your blood. We have had times where we feel so sluggish and we feel tired, and it's almost like our brains don't want to think properly. Then we have some dandelion tea, and all of a sudden, you just feel so bright and you feel so clear. It's also excellent if you struggle with constipation or any indigestion. It will definitely help your body to move things along and to have a healthy bowel movement. I cannot talk enough about dandelion because dandelion is so beneficial to our bodies. And if you go down to Dis-Chem, you will also find the dry dandelion already boxed for you, and you can make yourself a tea from that if you don't have them in your garden and you want to utilize them. They even today come in capsule forms if you prefer taking it in that form. Then we have our stingy nettle. Stingy nettle is probably my most favorite edible weed because it has a pH of 9. Now remember, I just told you that our pH scale goes from 0 to 14, with 0 as your acid and 14 as your alkaline and 7 as your neutral. So now can you just imagine from 7 to 14 being your alkaline section, the stingy nettle is on 9. So it's a very alkaline forming food. And it's a weed, but it's an edible weed. Now I know when you touch it, it stings and it doesn't feel nice. But if you use it in the demo that I'll show you today, you won't even know that you are having stinging nettle. But your body will love you for giving it to itself, if that even makes sense. But your body will love the stinging nettle because it's so alkaline and because of all the nutrients that it contains. And also as all the other herbs and all the other edible weeds, they are available at Dis-Chem in a tea form if you want to use it. Stinging nettle is also excellent just for indigestion and actually everything for your liver is everything. When I worked at the lifestyle center many years ago, standard procedure was every day, whether we were doing training modules or whether we were having guests, stinging nettle tea was part of their daily regime. Every day they had their stinging nettle tea because of the high alkaline ability that it gives the body. So really make stinging nettle some or other way a part of your diet. Then we have our clover. Clover is usually identified by the white circle in the middle, and it's also a dark leafy green and an edible wheat. So I'm just showing it to you as another example of something that you can consume. Then we have our wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is probably also another one of my favorite. I don't necessarily say this is a weed, but I put it under the examples of the wild greens because it's not commonly known. So on the deck here, I have some wheat kernels, just wheat from which they grind flour from. And did you know that if you grow this, you have that picture on the board, which is known as wheatgrass. On the table, you will see there's a green powder next to it. When you go to Dis-Chem and you look between the health products, you will see that they sell what they call barley grass powder or wheatgrass powder. And what that basically is this wheat kernel has been grown to what you see on the board, and then they basically take that and they make it into a powder form. And then people use this as a superfood. Many people use this that are athletic. They want to just provide their body with nutrients and minerals, and so your body will just become healthy because of the green powder. If you want to learn how to grow the wheatgrass, please send me an email or send me a message, and I can send you the instructions of how to grow your own wheatgrass. If you don't want to go through all that trouble, you can buy the powder at any house shop or at Dis-Chem. It's really a must in a diet, really, definitely. On the deck here, I brought a few snippets of my wheatgrass from home. So it looks like grass because it's called wheatgrass, but it's grown from wheat. Okay, so I hope I prickled a little bit of interest this morning with all my interesting herbs. But I just want to challenge you to just go and read up for yourself on edible wheats, and I promise you that you will be amazed at the world and the things that you can actually consume that are out there. And the wonderful thing about the wild greens, like your dandelion and your plantain, is that they are organic, because nobody are trying to grow weeds. So they're organic, they are non-GMO, and they are, obviously, if they're growing in a safe environment where they are not sprayed with Roundup and those kind of things, they are organic and they are clean. So I always suggest to people to have a little section in their garden where the weeds are allowed to grow. You know, maybe a little section away from the eyes so that it doesn't look ugly when you have visitors, but to allow the weeds to grow there, like your dandelion, your stinging nettle, and your plantain, so that you can go there in the mornings and snip a few pieces and put it into the recipes that I'll show you today. Then lastly, we have our yarrow. Yarrow is also an edible wheat, and what I love about the yarrow is that it is excellent for the blood. It's a blood cleanser. So if you can use this in your diet, it would be a great benefit to your blood especially. Everything else will benefit, but to the blood especially. So today I want to show you two recipes. I'm going to show you a green drink, and I'm going to show you a green smoothie. Now, what is the difference between the two? The green drink, you will see when we do the demonstration, is a more of a liquid substance. So it's literally more like a drink or like having water. So what we are doing in the green drink, we are making the fruit less in the green drink, whereas our green smoothie has more fruit, it's more thick and more creamy. You see, in order for your body to have the minerals go where it needs to go, you need a sugar. So that's why we are going to add some bananas and we are going to add some dates, because the fruit sugars actually take the minerals to your body where it needs to be. But when we have a green drink, I want you to almost think of it, it's more of a medicinal, a medicinal food than what your green smoothie is. However, if I say medicinal, people think that's going to taste horrible. So it's not going to taste horrible. It's just we are making the sugars less so that the nutrients that are in that drink is a lot more. But we still need a little bit of sugar so that the minerals can go where it needs to go. Whereas the green smoothie, I always suggest to people to use as a yogurt substitute. Many people will say to me, how can I substitute yogurt in my diet? I love having some yogurt with my fruit or over my granola. And I always say, well, have a green smoothie. It's a nice and creamy, it's nice and sweet, and it's a lovely addition to fruit salad and to granola. So it just depends on what do you want to do. I would suggest have a green smoothie every day. Every day have a green smoothie to make sure your body stays alkaline and that you're giving it the nutrients that it needs. And every so now and then you can actually do a nice cleanse, and then you can use the green drink for a cleanse. Or perhaps you're someone that likes to have a cup of coffee first thing in the morning so that you can have energy for the day. I want to say have a green drink first thing in the morning and you will have energy, and you'll have energy that will sustain you. Unfortunately, when we drink coffee, we have this huge spike, but it doesn't last very long, and then it makes us drop. And then we actually feel a little bit sluggish, and that's when we need another cup of coffee. So the green drink will actually keep your sugar levels going up stable, and then it keeps it stable and it comes down stable. So you don't have this drop in energy. And then along with it, you are providing your body with the nutrients that it needs, and automatically you will just have more energy. So let's start with our green drink. I'm going to put the recipe for you on the wall for those of you that want to write it down. Today I unfortunately only brought some spinach, and I brought some rocket. Rocket is also a dark leafy green, so you can also use it in your green smoothie. Oh, and of course I brought our wheatgrass. So that is what we are going to add into our green drink and into our green smoothie today. But please experiment with all the list of things that you have seen, and just have fun. So first we're going to start with 3 cups of water. Okay. Then we are going to add our 2 pieces of fruit. So what I'm going to do today, just to make sure that it's palatable, I'm going to add 2 bananas, and I'm going to add just a few dates. Very important when we think about when we have bananas. Perhaps I should just mention that often bananas, people like to eat bananas completely yellow or just yellow. I want to say to you that when you see a banana with a few brown spots, that's actually when it's ripe. When you have a complete yellow banana, it's not fully ripe yet. So the brown spots on the banana actually shows you that the sugars in the banana has now been fully developed. So I would suggest you wait a little bit until your banana has a few brown spots, and then you eat it. Some people cannot handle a mushy banana, so I'm not expecting you to have a fully brown banana. But there are some that actually like them like that. But just give your banana some time. Don't eat it when it's perfectly yellow. Give it an opportunity to just grow some brown spots, because then you know it's fully ripened. All right. So next what we're going to add is I'm going to just add some dates, just about 4 dates, just because it will be your first time trying it. I want it to be nice and palatable, but don't worry, it's going to taste good. Then we are going to add some spinach. I don't use the stem, so I just usually take it off from that. And it says 2 cups, so you can work on 2 handfuls if you want to just estimate. So that's about 1 handful. I'm just going to add a little bit of wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is sweet, so you don't want to add a whole lot. It might be too sweet. So just bear that in mind. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of rocket here as well. So let's just blend this quickly. I like to blend it nice and long so that everything is nice and blended up well and it's nice and smooth. Perhaps I can just mention, if you're interested in wanting a blender like this, please talk to us or contact us. We sell them as a ministry and they're not expensive. They're really affordable and it's an investment for every family member. So I would recommend it above anything else that you want to buy that is in I can say, large. I use mine every single day. It's really an investment. So I'm just going to pour out our green drink so that I can make our green smoothie. Don't you think that looks delicious? The green just makes me want to have it. Okay, so for our next recipe, I'm going to show you how to make a green smoothie. So the recipe is on the screen. You're welcome to write it down as we make the recipe. So firstly, we're going to start with our water again. I always like to start with my water because it helps everything to just blend nice and easily. So you will notice that it's a lot less water than our previous recipe because we are now going to make a more of a smooth texture, a thicker texture than our green drink. And it's exactly what it is. The one is a drink and the one is a smoothie. So we're trying to create that. Then we're going to add bananas. And I just want to say that these recipes are only recommendations. You don't have to follow them as is. You can play around and make them more palatable. You can add other fruits. You can add guavas. You can add apples. So play around. These are just a suggestion. I love to add bananas and dates because in my opinion, they are the superfoods in the fruit group. Their sugars are such good sugars to have, and the sugar that they provide is they also give you energy. So that's why I like to use bananas and dates. Okay, so then we're going to add 2 dates. I'm just going to add, for the love of it, 2 more. Okay, then I just want to show you, see the recipe asks for 4 tablespoons of soaked seed. So in this container here, I have dried linseed. So what I just did is I took my linseed that is dried and I added it into the jar. It's very important to make sure you only add it half full. Because what we are going to do is we're going now to take some water and we're going to fill up the jar. And then I close the lid. Just shake it a bit so that everything is soaked. And then you put this into the fridge. If you do this the night before or even the morning, I did this last night. And this morning it looks like this. So now you have a full jar of linseed. And now basically why this is so important is because it's already in a sprouted form now. You know, when you do sprouting, you use seeds and legumes and those kind of things, and you soak them, and then when they sprout, they are what we call nutrient-dense food. So it's a superfood. And so that's why I like to use my linseed soaked in this recipe, because now I am using a sprouted linseed. So I have extra nutrition in my smoothie. And also, the linseed soaked is very beneficial for the bowels. So adding it to this recipe, make sure that you stay regular and that your bowels move along smoothly. And just because they are sprouted, when you soak linseed, they become like jelly. They become all, maybe I could say gooey kind of thing. And that actually helps them to stick to the bowels in order to actually clean the bowels out. So we're adding them for nutrient, but also for medicinal purposes. So we are going to add 4 tablespoons of our soaked linseed. They, interesting enough, actually add to the texture as well of our smoothie. All right, now we're going to add some of our greens. So I'm going to add some rocket again. And then I'm going to add, it says a handful of leafy greens. You'll see that it's less than what the green drink was. This is because with the green drink, as I said, we are doing that for detoxifying purposes, cleansing purposes. So we make the fruit less, but we make the nutrients and the minerals more. Okay. I think I must just make that like a little handful because I want to just add some of the wheatgrass. And I picked this from my garden this morning before we came here, so it's nice and fresh. Okay, so now we're just going to blend. So I just want to show you that if you look at the consistency, it's a lot thicker than what the green drink is. You can play around with your smoothie texture. You can make it even more runnier, or you can make it even more thicker. It depends on what you like. I prefer more of a runnier smoothie because I like to drink it and get it done, basically. But if you like a more thicker one to put over your fruit salad or your granola, then you can do it as well. And it smells good. So these are two simple recipes that I felt I just wanted to share with you today. Ways that you can actually incorporate greens more into your diet and in your lifestyle. And I promise you, you'll feel better. Not that I'm saying you feel sick, but you'll just feel better. You'll feel healthier, you'll have more energy. You'll actually, as we've started off, we read from scripture how important the herbs and the vegetables are, especially the herbs. So by having this, you're actually helping your body to be healthy and helping your body to function optimally. And then along with that, you are actually making your body more alkaline, and you get the benefit of their good flavor and the delicious meal that you are having. So I hope that you've been blessed by this demonstration. If you have any questions, you're welcome to come to me afterwards and we can talk about some questions, or you can send me an email or a message, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much.
If this video was informative and you were blessed by the content, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the bell and you'll receive a notification every time we upload a new video. How can you support our ministry in these troubled times? Number one, pray for us as we bring the gospel to the world. Number two, share the video with as many people as possible. And number three, you can support us financially by sending us an email, and we will then get in contact with you. May God bless you as we continue on this journey towards the kingdom.